So hello, I wanted to talk about some of the watches. I had a few folks come on in the comments on YouTube and said that I should give more updates that are not just playing kind of crazy music. I get it, totally agree. So I've got 4 of my watches with me today, and not sure why I selected these. I've got 2 dive watches, a chronograph and a GMT. 3 of them are fairly modern. One is the Panerai was purchased, I believe, 6 years ago. The AP is from 2012, and the Brigade. Wow, when did I get that? It was purchased pre-owned around a year ago, or was it less than a year? I don't remember when, but I think it was in the summer, maybe. Might have been 9 months ago. So anyway, so they're pretty different watches, other than the fact you got the 2 dive watches here, right? Which should I start with? I will start with the 1980 Rolex Root GMT. It's got the acrylic crystal, the nipple dial. As you can see, the hands were replaced. To me, not the end of the world. You know, I get it. It should be original to have the greatest value, but the dial's original. The bezel looks original. I know it's an original bracelet. So, I've just always loved the Root Beer GMT. Especially the vintage version like this. And often it's tough to get a good view of it. And usually, to me, outdoor lighting, I'm in the vehicle right now. Outdoor lighting is your best place to see what the watch really looks like. Just about. This is really, I mean, I've worn this for a fairly, long periods of time here and there. The only negative I've ever had is I once had, I can't remember which one of these screws popped out. And thankfully I was in the living room and the watch dropped onto the couch. But that was my only concern, is the integrity of the bracelet. But there doesn't appear to be a problem. But obviously you want to make sure the bracelet with a watch that's, 40 years old? Yeah, 40 years old. You're just kind of checking on the bracelet. You don't want it to go flying and sort of thrash to the ground. So very cool watch. It keeps really good time. It's sort of amazing that you can take something that's this old, older than probably most of you watching, or many of you watching, and the timekeeping is impeccable. Sometimes I see these pre-owned and they're not quite as elevated in price as the typical Rolex models, especially the new ones that are so hard to get. Well, certainly compared to those, but as far as the vintage watches, I'm noticing at times that the Root Beer, while they're rare, are not quite as up there sometimes. So you might, if you like that kind of look, it is really different. It's possibly one of the weirdest Rolexes ever. So anyway, Root Beer GMT. This is a Breguet Type XXI chronograph, flyback chronograph. This one's 43 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's 43. Probably looks bigger. The bracelet's glorious on this thing. It is glorious. And it just so happened, when I bought the watch, that it fit perfectly. Yeah, this bracelet's something. It just kind of pops open to point in the back. The finishing is off the charts on this. I mean, it is a Brigade after all. It has a bidirectional bezel. I can't get the chronograph going because I think I'll probably royally screw up my attempted photography here. But the dial is, as you can see, kind of like a grayish brown. I think it's listed as gray, but sometimes it looks brown to me. So you got the 3 subdials. The loom is extremely powerful, and it's multicolored. You got green, a combo of green and blue lume. I'll have to show that at some point. But this is a really cool watch, and if you're looking for pre-owned, this is a super good value. I've seen these. It's probably half a retail or less. And this is a hell of a watch. If you just want one really, really good watch, I would really recommend this. It would go in any occasion, and it's got a screw-down crown with, I want to say 100, is it 100 meters water resistance? 100-meter water resistance, yeah. And then this is the Audemars Piguet Offshore Diver, have an AP kind of gray strap on it, and this is the original with the closed case back. I want to say that the current version with the open case back showing the movement was 3-4 years ago. So I guess they had a run of about 4 years with this version, if I'm getting my years right, and then sort of jumped on to the open case back. But this is an awesome watch, you know. Probably my favorite watch I have, I think. Unless the one coming in later this week becomes my favorite. But this thing's just awesome. It's heavy, man. I mean, it's not crazy heavy, but if it had a bracelet, I can't imagine what that would feel like. The head or cased area of this watch feels super substantial. Size-wise, it actually is listed as 42. But I would say it wears similar size feeling on the wrist to the Brigade and the Panerai. So AP Diver has has an internal unidirectional rotating bezel, which I cannot demonstrate right now or I'll be really fumbly, so we won't do that. But I love looking at the dial. It's awesome. The Mega Tapisserie dial. So, AP Offshore Diver. And this is, whoa, don't want to drop anything. This is my Panerai PAM510, which I've shown on here many, many times, with the in-house movement and the sandwich dial. What I love is this new Panerai strap I picked up, which is the one that Panerai released on the mic horn. It's an Explorer. If you're not familiar, Google Panerai submersible mic horn. On that limited watch, which is a really cool one, they had this strap which is made fully from recycled plastic taken from the ocean. And they told me that each strap is roughly about as much as 3 water bottles. So it looks like fabric, and it's really comfortable. So anyway, real happy with all those, and we'll talk to you soon.